So we're going to talk about GoRouter navigation in Flutter. And let's just first have a look what is the order of the talk today. So first we're going to talk about the advantages of GoRouter. Then we're going to look at a wireframe of a simple app with the Navigator, and the same thing with the GoRouter. Then we will look at the GoRouter object schematically, what are the components of it, what is the structure of it, and then we'll do a code implementation starting from scratch by pulling a Flutter create to create an empty app. And we'll go on defining the router object, we'll define the named routes, then we'll implement Material.router, or the version of MaterialApp which takes a routing configuration. And we'll also create a generic page widget which will allow us to figuratively go from one page to the other and know which page we are. We'll compile into iOS, and we'll also compile into web. And we'll see that we'll have a hash in the web path. By changing the URL strategy, we can get rid of that hash. We'll compile the web again with the new strategy to see the hash disappearing, and we'll do a recap of what we have done. So let's get started. So what are the advantages of the GoRouter versus a Navigator? First of all, the syntax is much more expressive and readable, and it's easier to define routes. It's also very streamlined. It improves the maintainability of the code and reduces boilerplate in many areas of the code. And it also allows for navigation guards, meaning, for example, if authentication state is not in the desired state, you don't allow the user to go to that path. The other thing is testing is much easier with the GoRouter, and it provides a very robust support for deep linking, especially for web Flutter, and also for deep linking iOS and Android apps. At the same time, state management becomes much more robust, reducing errors, and on top of it, it improves the performance over the Navigator. Now, let's look at this app where I have 3 top-level pages, home, profile, and login, and their corresponding routes would be / profile and / login. On top of it, inside the login page, I have the potential to go to a sign-up page or a forgot password page, but they will be pushed onto the stack. So therefore, the movement between the bottom level or the 0th level pages will be by Navigator.push replacement. But once I'm in the login page, then to navigate to sign up and to forgot password, I would have to use Navigator.push, and those will get an automatic leading button, a back button in the app bar, which effectively does Navigator.pop, meaning removes the last screen from the stack and falls back to the login page. So that would be the structure for a simple app setup with Navigator. Now, if you look at the simple app setup with the GoRouter, it's very similar, but in this case, all the commands are context.go named. So you don't have to worry about, push replacement, push, or pop. You can just use context.go named to go between the screens, because the stacking rules are all defined within the GoRouter. So the sign up page and the forgot page are defined as children of the login route. So therefore, if the login/sign up is desired as a named destination, you don't have to go push replacement and then a push, but you can just say contact named and it will be done. For example, if you're going from the home page to the sign up page, you would say context.go sign up, but in the normal Navigator you would have to go to login first and then from login a push to sign up. So it would be 2 steps, whereas it's a single step with the GoRouter. Okay, so let's look at the GoRouter object and how it's structured. So these navigation guards that we talked about, for example, redirect, is the possibility to redirect the routing to a login page if authentication state is not the desired state. Or we can build generic error pages when certain route is not found, especially coming from the web, if the URL is misformed or pointing to a wrong destination. We can do specific exception handling depending on the type of exceptions. And at the same time, the most important part of the GoRouter, of course, is the routes property, which is a list of GoRoute objects. Now, each GoRoute object in itself defines a certain destination. So in this case, these GoRoute objects define the top level destination / which would be our home, / profile, and / login, these 3. But then in themselves, these GoRouter objects can have routes as well, and these would be the child routes of that GoRoute object. And in this case, this would be GoRoute forgot and sign up, which would effectively build up on the /login /forgot or /login /sign up type final destinations. So, and these routes are obviously pushed onto the stack above that ground level route. Now in our VS Code, we're going to create a empty project. So I'm in this directory GoRouter, which I created for my sample project. I type Flutter create, and then to create a project in the same directory as you're in, you can just use dot, and our project is created. One of the things I like to do is to create a launch.json file in Dart and Flutter. So that's created. And if I look at my files, I have my lib with the main.dart. And there's a lot of comments there which I want to get rid of. And this my home page I want to replace with a generic page that just takes the title. So let's do that here as a new file. Generic page.dart, and it's a stateless widget. We call it generic page. We pull in the material, and we return a scaffold with an app bar that takes a title text title, let's call it title text. And the other thing that this scaffold should have is a body with a center child text. Let's put the same title text here. Of course, we need to define the title text, final string title text, and we have to build the constructor for it. Right, so now we have a generic page which takes an argument as text and it displays it in the title and the body. That's good. Let's go back to main and let's get rid of this entire my home page widget. And here I want to send my generic page with a title text, Flutter, let's call it just home for now. And I have to bring in the definition for the generic page. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to create a folder here called navigation. And I want to put all my navigation related things in here. So I create a class called RouteName, and this would be this would have static strings of home, and then we'll have profile, then we have login, then we have forgot, and then sign up, just like in our example. So this is done such that whenever I use context.goNamed to go a destination with the GoRouter, I don't have to type in strings, but I only type routename.home, etc. So that's done. The next thing is I need to define my GoRouter object. So router.dart is my GoRouter object. GoRouter final GoRouter router equals GoRouter off. Okay, we pull in the definition of the GoRouter. Well, we cannot because we haven't actually added the package. So go back to the terminal and Flutter pub add GoRouter. So now the GoRouter package has been added to pubspec.yaml. Let's have a quick look. There is the GoRouter now added to pubspec.yaml. And now I should be able to pull in the package, and I need to fill in the GoRouter properties. So routes obviously is one of the important properties of GoRouter, and let's start filling it with the home route. So the object is called GoRoute, and it will have a path, which in this case will be slash. It will have a name, which will be routename.home. Right here, we're using it again. The routename object we created so that we don't arbitrarily pass strings as name. And then it needs a builder. Basically, this route needs a builder, and it takes the current context and something called the GoRouter state, which we will see later what it means. But for now, let's ignore it. And what this should return is the home page. And the way we can generate the home page is we call generic page, and the title should be routename.home, because routename.home is a string. And because everything is a constant, it prefers a constant constructor. That is fine. So this is my home route. Now I can build the other three routes from here. So the home, the next one would be profile, and the path would be profile. And the next one would be login, login. Now, because the two paths sign up and forgot are under login, that needs a routes property filled in with the two child routes, meaning the GoRoute of name forgot, and path is, now the path is relative to the top path, and then the slash is assumed, so therefore we only actually give forgot. Okay, and we need to define the builder for this. The builder will be again a generic page, and the title will be, let's give the title the same name as the route name. Okay, and similarly we can just copy paste this, and it will be sign up, and sign up. So we have now defined our routes. These are the top level routes: home, profile, login. And because the home route has slash in it, that's the assumed initial route. So if we wanted to expand the properties of the GoRouter, if we do this, we will see that there is a initial location, and it's an optional parameter, and the slash is assumed as the initial location. Okay, so this concludes the GoRouter object, and the next thing we need to do, is implement the MaterialApp.router in our main.dart file. So to do that, I change it to a different constructor, a MaterialApp.router constructor, which doesn't need a home, because the initial location is given by the router, right? It doesn't need an initial location. And it will take a router config in this case, and this would be our router file. So basically everything that we've defined in this file, this GoRouter router, is coming into here, and the definition comes from Navigation router. So right now, let's just quick look. We've created the route names, home, profile, login, forgot, setup, so that we don't, when we call these routes from within the app, we don't use explicit names or explicit strings. The router object defines the structure, so 1, 2, 3 top level pages, and then 2 child pages to the login page. We've created a generic page that just simply displays a title and center text of the same type. And the main.dart, the material app, is now a different constructor with the config. Now let's try to run this on the iOS simulator. It's selected here as the device, and we go to the run and debug, and we hit compile. So as you can see, it built, and it went to the home page, displaying home in the title and displaying home in the center, and there's no way that we can go any routes because we haven't built any buttons to do that. Going to the generic page, what I can do is I can replace this text with a button. And what I can do is I can say fill button, and the child should be text of destination. and the onPressed should be also destination, but as a route name. So the way we do that, we say context.go and then destination. So I'll pass, for example, login or profile, and I'll try to go there. So it doesn't know what is .go, so we import the GoRouter package. This destination needs to come in as a text. And the constructor is built, and this is a semicolon. So our generic page is now extended, but of course these things now require the destination property to be set. And the destination from the home page, we can go, for example, RouteName.profile. And from the profile page, we can go destination login. And from the login page, we can go to destination forgot. And from the forgot page, I could go to sign up, and from the sign up page I could simply go home. So let's refresh, and we can see here in our home page we've got the profile button, or the button that should take us to the profile page. Let's see if that works. Oh, we made a mistake. It should be go named. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, let's try again. We go to the profile page. Yes, we're in the profile page, but it takes me back. It takes me now to the login page. Sorry. And in the login page, I can go to the forgot page. And from the forgot page, I can go to sign up. But also note that the forgot page got this back arrow. This is the automatically implied leading of the app bar widget, because if it's poppable, it will automatically put this there unless you suppress it. And if we click this, we should fall back to the login page. And let me go back to the forgot page. Now, if I go to the sign up page, it's a parallel move. It doesn't push anything else onto the stack. Again, if I pop out from the sign up, I'm not going to fall onto forgot, but I'm going to fall onto login. So let's see that. Let's go back again, sign up, but if I click to home, I go all the way back to home. So this is working exactly as we wanted. And it will be also interesting to see how this works in web. So therefore, I add my web device and run for the web. Okay, let me stop the iOS. It's easier this way so they don't get confused, and I'm running the web. So now the web has run, and I'm in my home page again. If I click on profile, let's have a look what happens with the URL. So the URL has this hash, which we will learn how to get rid of. But anyway, let's have a look at the behavior. So if I click login, it should be /login. But if I click on forgot, it should be /login/forgot. right? It works. If I click on sign up, it's /login/sign up. And if I click on home, I go back to the default page. Now, this is the desired behavior. And in fact, it should also allow me to go back with the browser history. So if I click on the browser history, I'm on the sign up page, forgot page, login page, profile page, and back to the home page, the very beginning of the history stack. So this is the one of the great advantages of GoRouter, that this can be done robustly, whereas with the Navigator, it's not always clear. Sometimes you can lose that history and it will be all jumbled up. Okay, to sort out this issue with the hash, I need to go to my pubspec.yaml file, and I need to import a dependency called Flutter Web Plugins SDK Flutter. And the other thing I need to do is go to my main.dart and import here package Flutter Web Plugins and URL.strategy from here. Okay, and I simply need to run use PathUrlStrategy. So this is the way to get this done, and we'll have to see whether it has worked. Okay, all right, so let's bring our browser screen here, and now if I click on the profile page, I go to the profile page without the slash, and so I can much easier now go directly from the URL profile, or let's call it login/forgot, and what it will do, it will go to this page, and it's already going there by spawning the login page underneath, and therefore we get this back button, meaning that this is one level above the stack, so that if I click on the back button, and this is not the browser history button, that's the back button, that gets me to the login page, down to the login page. The browser history should get me back to the /login/forgot, because that's what the browser knows. Okay, and I click on it again, I go back to profile, back to home, just like we had when the hash was there. But now we've removed the hash. It's a much more usable URL for the web. So to recap, we've changed our Material app to Material.router. For a more robust, a more meaningful URL strategy, we brought this PathUrlStrategy from the Flutter Web Plugins. Then we've created named routes in this fashion through a RouteName class's static constructor, such that within the app we never explicitly use these strings as names, and we always use the route name so that there is no mistakes creeping into our app. And the most important part of the routing is this router definition or router config, which has these high-level routes, and then underneath the high-level routes, it has the child routes. And of course, the child routes can have child routes, etc., etc. But the basic structure, what we want to show today, is this. Any comments? Leave below.